Before we start, please make sure to like this video and hit this subscribe button so you never miss a story like this. And also comments where you are watching from, how many sons and daughters you have. Thanks.
My name is Olivia Turner. I'm from Austin, Texas. And if there's one thing I've learned the hard way, it's that the people closest to you can shatter your life without even flinching. Betrayal doesn't always come with a warning. Sometimes, it shows up in a tuxedo, with a wedding invitation, smiling like it didn't burn your whole world to the ground. You want what? I screamed, standing there in the middle of our living room, still holding the half-cooked pasta in one hand and my phone in the other. You're leaving me? Just like that? Liam didn't even flinch. He looked at me with that cold detachment that only comes when someone's been planning their exit for a long time. I'm not happy, Olivia. I haven't been for years. My blood boiled. And you couldn't tell me that before we bought this house together? Before we started planning a family? Before you convinced me to quit my job and support your dream? He rolled his eyes like I was being dramatic. Don't act like I owe you my life just because you supported me. Oh, don't worry, I snapped, my voice trembling with rage. You don't owe me your life. But a little respect would have been nice. A conversation. A warning. Something, anything, before you packed your bags like a coward. And then he said it. The line that punched the air straight out of my lungs. I'm already with someone else, Olivia. I didn't come here to fight. I came to give you the papers. We're done. I dropped the phone. Literally. It clattered to the floor as I stared at him in disbelief. You're cheating on me? My voice cracked, but I didn't care. With who? He hesitated. That split second of hesitation told me everything. I took a step forward. Say it. I want to hear it from your lying mouth. He swallowed hard, Natalie. I blinked. Natalie, my Natalie? My best friend Natalie? I didn't plan for it to happen, he started, but I lunged at him. You disgusting, backstabbing snake. I shoved his chest, hard. You slept with my best friend and now you're standing in my house like I'm the problem? He grabbed my wrists. Stop. You're making this ugly. It already is ugly. I shrieked. You made it ugly the second you snuck behind my back with the one person I trusted most in this world. Liam let go and stepped back like I was some unhinged stranger. I came to be civil. Civil? I laughed bitterly. Then why didn't you tell me the truth before you started sneaking out late and smelling like her perfume? You think I didn't notice? I was crying now, tears of fury, confusion, heartbreak. The kind that come when your entire world splits down the middle and nobody even warns you it's coming. I gave you everything, Liam. My loyalty. My love. My time. And you throw it all away like it meant nothing. He didn't answer. Just stood there silently, as if my pain was inconvenient to him now. Then he placed an envelope on the kitchen counter. What's that? I asked through gritted teeth. He turned to leave. It's an invitation. I snatched the envelope and tore it open like it was poisoned. I read the names, and my knees nearly buckled. Liam Scott and Natalie Brooks. A wedding. Their wedding. I figured you'd want to know, he said, his back turned to me. You figured I'd want to know? I screamed after him. You figured I'd what, cheer you on as you marry the woman who helped destroy me? He was already at the door, already gone, like I was just another mess he could walk away from. And there I was, alone, holding the invitation to my own public humiliation. Some people walk out of your life quietly. Others leave chaos behind like it's nothing. I spent years loving a man who threw me away like trash, and worse, he handed my broken heart to the very friend I once called sister. I thought I'd never come back from it. But I did. And what they didn't know was that I had a plan. And this time, I would be the one walking into their big day, with more than just a smile. Because when they invited me to their wedding, they thought I'd cry. But I had something better than tears. I had the truth. And I wasn't leaving until everyone heard it. Never betray the one who kept your secrets, covered your mistakes, and stood by your side, because if they ever decide to speak, you won't survive the truth. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, this story is for you. Keep watching, because what happens next will make you question everything you think you know about loyalty, love, and revenge. I don't remember how long I stood in that kitchen. Time didn't make sense anymore. The pasta boiled over on the stove, the smoke alarm went off, and still, I stood there, clutching that wedding invitation like it was bleeding in my hands. I didn't cry. Not at first. I think my heart was too stunned to allow it. I just kept rereading the names. Liam Scott and Natalie Brooks. Her name looked so smug next to his. As if this had all been part of their fairy tale love story. As if I hadn't been the one who sat on the bathroom floor with Natalie for hours after her breakups. As if I hadn't picked out Liam's birthday gifts and cooked dinner for the three of us like some oblivious fool. It felt like a death. But worse. Because when someone dies, they don't smile and send you invitations to watch them dance on your grave. When I finally moved, I walked straight into our bedroom. No, my bedroom now. His side of the closet was empty. I hadn't even noticed before. No jackets. No shoes. Just hangers. Mocking me. That's when I lost it. I ripped every photo off the wall. Every smiling picture of us on vacation, every frame Natalie ever gifted us. I shattered them all. My hands were bleeding from broken glass, but I didn't care. I needed the lies out of my sight. I collapsed on the floor in the hallway, surrounded by pieces of what used to be my life. And that's when the tears came, ugly, choking sobs that made my chest hurt. The kind that come when you realize the love you gave was a joke to the people you trusted most. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't eat the next day. I didn't answer my phone when Natalie texted me some pathetic, half-hearted apology. I'm sorry you found out this way. But we didn't mean to fall in love. I hope one day you'll understand. Understand? Understand? I had been there for her when her parents cut her off. I helped her pay rent. I kept her secrets. And this was how she thanked me? By crawling into bed with my husband and sending me a wedding invitation like a souvenir? For a week, I shut the world out. Then, something changed. Maybe it was the silence. Or maybe it was the reflection in the mirror. The girl I saw staring back at me, with swollen eyes and trembling hands, she didn't look like me. She looked broken. And I hated that. I thought about how easily they had erased me from their story. Like I was a footnote. An obstacle they had to climb over to find their true happiness. But I wasn't going to let that be my ending. I started writing. Journaling everything. Every betrayal. Every detail. Every red flag I had ignored. I looked back at all the times Liam lied about working late, or the weekends Natalie suddenly couldn't hang out. It was all there. The signs. The silence between them. The whispers I brushed off. I went through photos, hundreds of them. Zoomed in. Studied body language. I remembered one trip where Natalie had insisted on switching seats with me on a roller coaster so she could sit next to Liam. Back then, I thought nothing of it. Now I saw it. The way her hand brushed his on the safety bar. The way they laughed like they shared a secret. They weren't sloppy. They were just confident I'd never question them. And they were right. Until now. I made a plan. Not a petty one. A smart one. Because you can't just get back at people like that with yelling or revenge. No. If you want to expose the truth, you have to be strategic. Precise. You have to hit them where it hurts, and make sure there's an audience when you do. So when the second wedding reminder came in the mail, RSVP deadline circled in gold, I knew what I had to do. I checked the guest list. I checked the venue. I checked everything. And then I made my move. What do you do when the people you trusted the most tear your world apart? Do you scream? Do you hide? Or do you rise? She gave them everything, and they handed her betrayal in return. But what they didn't know was that this woman, this broken-hearted, cast-aside, forgotten woman, was about to show up to their perfect little wedding. Not to cry. Not to beg. But to expose everything. Revenge isn't loud. It's not about slashing tires or screaming in the middle of the street. It's quiet. Calculated. It's the long game, the kind that makes them regret ever underestimating you. I RSVP'd yes to the wedding. Typed it with shaking fingers and a blank face. They didn't expect that. Natalie even sent me a voice note, pretending to be surprised. You're really coming? That means the world to me. I'd love to talk before the big day, clear the air. Clear the air? I almost laughed. You don't get to burn someone's house down and then offer them a bottle of Febreze. I didn't respond. Instead, I got to work. I hired a stylist. I booked a dress fitting. Not because I wanted to look good for them, no. Because when I walked into that wedding, I wanted to be unrecognizable. Not the broken wife they left behind. I wanted to be the storm they never saw coming. But first, I needed information. So I made a few calls. Quiet ones. Liam had forgotten one crucial thing. When you spend years married to someone, they know where the bodies are buried. Figuratively, of course. But still, I knew the passwords. The old email logins. The financial slips he thought he'd erased. And Natalie? She had confided in me so many times. I knew her entire life story, the good, the bad, and the scandalous. So I dug. And what I found was gold. First, there were the texts. Old iCloud backups. Messages between Liam and Natalie going back 2 years, while Liam and I were still married, still trying for a baby. I read every word like poison. She's so gullible, LOL. I told her I was working late, again. Face with tears of joy. I wish you could see her face when I leave. She actually believes I'm just stressed about work. Let's just get through this next trip. Then we'll figure out how to get her out. They were playing house with me while plotting my exit. Laughing at me. Planning this. But that wasn't the worst of it. I found a message, buried deep in a hidden folder. From Natalie to someone else. Someone named Marcus. She wasn't just cheating with Liam. She was cheating on Liam, too. She told Marcus she felt trapped, that she didn't actually want to marry him, but it's better than being broke. It was dated 2 weeks ago. Suddenly, everything changed. I didn't just have heartbreak. I had leverage. So I screenshotted everything. Compiled it into a clean, anonymous file. And I sent it, not to Liam, but to his mother. I knew Mrs. Scott. She had always been cold to me, but she loved Liam. Loved the idea of him marrying someone respectable. So I made sure she got every truth Natalie had ever hidden, including her secret stash of photos with Marcus, and the timestamps that proved it all. 1 hour after sending the email, she replied. Who are you? Why are you sending this? I replied with just one sentence. Ask your son. Then I waited. Because the next part was timing. The wedding was just 10 days away. Just enough time for panic to set in. Just enough time for doubt to fester in Liam's mind. Just enough time for me to show up, smile politely, and watch the entire thing fall apart. But I didn't stop there. No. I wanted the full reckoning. So I started reaching out to people, mutual friends, old co-workers, even Natalie's estranged sister, Erin, who hadn't spoken to her in years. What I found was a pattern. Natalie had a history. Not just with Liam, But with every man she could leverage for money, opportunity, or ego. Aaron told me Natalie once dated her boss, and ruined his marriage too. It's always the same, she said. She finds someone with status, wraps them around her finger, and then trades them for the next one. I asked Aaron if she'd be willing to attend the wedding. She didn't even hesitate. Oh, I wouldn't miss it. They thought they could rewrite history without consequences. That the woman they betrayed would disappear, shrink, vanish into silence. But she didn't. She watched. She remembered. And now she was armed with every secret, every lie, every truth they buried under champagne toasts and wedding vows. Because you can only play pretend for so long, before the truth shows up. Sometimes in a white dress. Sometimes with a microphone. Sometimes with a smile that says, "I forgive you," but the truth doesn't. The morning of their wedding, I didn't cry. I didn't shake. I didn't scream. I stood in front of the mirror in my deep emerald dress, the one that hugged my waist, the one Liam used to say brought out my eyes, and smiled. Not because I was over it. Not because I had healed. But because I was ready. I had spent months grieving. Weeks planning. Days preparing. And now, it was time to finish the story they started without me. When I stepped out of the car at the vineyard, heads turned. I wasn't the ghost they expected. I wasn't fragile, or pitiful, or broken. I was radiant. Calm. Silent. And that silence scared them more than any screaming ever could. Natalie saw me first. She was laughing with her bridesmaids near the floral archway, holding her phone and sipping champagne like the world was hers. But the moment her eyes landed on me, she froze, mid-sip. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. Good. Let her sweat. Liam was next. He was standing near the altar, trying to look important in his fitted tux, when he turned around and spotted me. I watched the color drain from his face. Still looked good in a suit, I'll admit. Still looked like a liar in one, too. I didn't wave. Didn't nod. Just walked down the aisle, not to a seat, but toward the front row. Natalie's mother shifted uncomfortably. A few bridesmaids whispered. I could hear murmurs ripple through the crowd. Is that? Wait, isn't she? Why is she here? I sat down in the second row. Front and center. Like I was watching a show. And I was. One they invited me to. The ceremony began. Classical music played. The officiant cleared his throat. Natalie walked down the aisle, fake tears in her eyes, like she hadn't betrayed her own best friend for this moment. Liam watched her with a shaky smile. His eyes darted to me more than once. I saw the hesitation in him. The guilt. The cracks forming in his picture-perfect moment. Good. I wasn't here to stop the wedding. I was here to let the truth do it for me. Just as they reached the "if anyone objects" line, Natalie gasped. Because someone stood up in the back row. Excuse me, a voice said. Firm. Clear. Loud enough for everyone to hear. Before this couple exchanges vows, I think there's something the groom should know. It was Erin. Natalie's sister. People turned in their chairs. Natalie stiffened. Erin, what are you doing? She hissed. Erin walked forward, holding a manila folder in her hand. I think it's time we stop pretending, Natalie. You're not who he thinks you are. You never were. Liam blinked. What is this? Erin looked directly at him. Ask her who Marcus is. The crowd went silent. Natalie's face flushed red, then pale. She's lying. She's just jealous. But Erin kept going. You want to marry her? Fine. But you should know she's been seeing someone else behind your back too. Just like she did to Olivia. And then she handed him the folder. Photos. Screenshots. Dates. Times. Proof. I didn't even have to say a word. Liam flipped through the pages. The smugness drained from his face like ink in water. Natalie, what the hell is this? Natalie stuttered, reached for his arm. Liam, please, I can explain. You told me Olivia was the manipulative one, he whispered. You told me she used you. And the whole time, you were playing me too? Her voice cracked. It wasn't like that. I didn't mean to. You didn't mean to, he exploded. You destroyed my marriage and now you're standing here acting like you're the victim? She grabbed his hands. I love you. No, you don't, he said coldly. You love the attention. The game. Just like you always have. People started getting up. Guests whispering, some filming, some walking out. Natalie stood in the middle of it all, the picture of a bride abandoned by her own lies. I stayed seated. Calm. Collected. Until Liam looked over at me. His eyes searched mine. Maybe for pity. Maybe for forgiveness. But all I gave him was the truth. You invited me here, Liam, I said gently. So I came. Not to stop you. Not to scream. I came so you could see what it feels like to be me. He opened his mouth. Closed it. He had nothing left to say. Natalie began crying, shaking, pleading. But the damage was done. And I stood up. Straightened my dress. Took one long, slow look around the broken ceremony, and walked away. Not a word. Not a tear. Just power. She didn't crash their wedding. She attended it, and left with everything they'd tried to steal from her, her dignity, her voice, her power. Because the best revenge isn't rage. It's rising. It's walking away from people who thought you needed them to be whole, and proving you were whole all along. It's been 7 months since that wedding. 7 months since I walked away without looking back. No apologies. No closure. No begging for answers that were already rotting inside both of them. Just silence. The kind of silence that heals. And somehow, in that silence, I found myself again. At first, it was hard. Mornings felt heavy. Nights dragged. There were still moments I'd reach for my phone to call Natalie, forgetting for a split second that she wasn't my friend anymore, that she traded our sisterhood for satin vows and champagne lies. But grief has stages. So does betrayal. And eventually, it softened. I started going for walks again. Just small ones. Then longer. Then every morning. I'd watch the sunrise and remind myself that no matter how dark the night had been, the sun always came back. Even when the sky didn't deserve it. I changed the furniture in the house. Painted the walls. Donated every blanket, every plate, every stupid souvenir we bought together. I turned our home into my home. And I filled it with things that made me feel alive: books, candles, music. Peace. I went back to work, too. Took a job I'd always wanted but was too afraid to chase because I was too busy being someone else's support system. It turns out I was good at what I did. Really good. People started noticing. Promoting. Praising. Funny, isn't it? I spent years shrinking myself to make other people comfortable. Now, the more I stood in my truth, the more I grew. As for Liam and Natalie, I never saw them again. I heard through a mutual friend that the wedding was cancelled completely. He moved out of state. She tried to salvage her image on social media for a while, but the facade cracked quickly. You can't build a life on lies and expect it to stand tall. They got what they deserved. But more importantly, I got what I needed. Peace. Clarity. Power. Forgiveness, even, not for them, but for me. For all the times I ignored my instincts. For all the times I chose loyalty over self-respect. For all the tears I wasted on people who weren't worth even a drop. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not broken. I'm not bitter. I'm better. Because what they did to me? That wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something stronger. Something unshakable. Me. Sometimes the people who betray you the worst are the ones you loved the most. They'll lie. Cheat. Walk away smiling, thinking they broke you. But what they don't know is that you were never made of glass. You were made of fire. And they just taught you how to burn brighter. Never beg to stay in a place where you are being quietly replaced. Never doubt your worth just because someone else couldn't see it. And never forget, the people who break you don't get to define you. Only you do. If you've ever been betrayed, replaced, or left behind, this story is for you. Not because it fixes the pain, but because it reminds you, you will rise from it. Like Olivia did. Like you will. If this touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Because healing isn't a solo journey, it starts when we tell the truth out loud.